Welcome back to CMO Weekly, where we bring you the stories of world's most innovative marketing leaders, redefining industries and shaping the future of business. Today, we're excited to welcome Marco Trucco, a seasoned expert and trailblazer in the online gaming industry. With over 15 years of experience, Marco has become a driving force behind some of the most iconic brands in the gaming space. As the CMO of Immense Group, formerly Video Slots, Marco oversees 5 leading brands across regulated European markets, continuing to push the boundaries of innovation in a rapidly evolving industry. Marco's journey began in Italy in 2008, where he entered the gaming industry. Since then, he has taken on international roles with multinational companies, including PokerStars, where he ran international marketing outside the US, and GG Poker, where he led European marketing efforts. His work has consistently driven growth, engaged global audiences, and set a new benchmark for the industry. Now at Immense Group, Marco brings his deep expertise and strategic vision to a company that has been a pioneer in the gaming sector. His ability to navigate the complexities of regulated markets while driving creative and impactful marketing strategies has cemented his reputation as one of the industry's most influential leaders. Marco, excited to have you on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell me about your first really interaction with gambling at all. Like, even as a kid, like, were you always super into it? Did you always want to be in the casino, or, did that come later in life?
I always played poker with friends growing up.
Hold'em or?
No, the Italian version of poker.
Okay.
It's a weird version of poker nobody plays anymore. But so I was a journalist back in 2007, and I just happened to be in Vegas when they played the final table of the World Series of Poker, where
Was that Chris Moneymaker?
exactly,
Yeah.
where Moneymaker won, and I was there by total chance. I was a journalist, and I had totally randomly an opportunity to be in Vegas, and on that day, I found out that they were playing the final table of the World Series of Poker. I didn't know what the World Series of Poker were. I didn't know anything about poker except the fact that I was playing poker with my friends. Happened to be at the final table, saw the show, fell in love with poker, came back to Italy, and I started to connect with poker players. And in the next couple of years, I started to manage Everest Poker, which was a big poker company back then. And from there, I moved out of journalism and into the gambling industry.
It's funny because I have a very, very vivid memory of watching that 2007 World Series of Poker with my dad and Chris Moneymaker winning it.
Yeah.
And it's such a vivid memory. I don't know what was it, but something about it was so special. Why was it so special?
Well, that was 2004, even before internet was a thing. So there was no online poker. And basically, Moneymaker won.
Was that his legal name? Did you ever really?
Yeah, no, it's the legal name.
Okay.
He won a satellite on Stars for $27, and it ended up winning like $3 million plus. So that's, the dream story for every company. And that started basically the online boom. So it was a combination of the right time, because online poker just started, and the right person.
Sure.
And and the right technology, because even iPhones were not available back then. So it was all about desktop, very, very early stages, but everyone was just captivated by the story. And then I came back in 2009 as director of Everest, sponsoring the event. So I came back like 4 years later as a director of the company who sponsored the main event. So it was nice coming back. First year was there as tourist. Few years after, I was there as director of the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me more about like what expectation versus reality it was when you were entering the poker industry. Like, what did you expect, and what did you actually see?
2007, 2012, it was the golden era. Like the golden days of poker. US was still somehow tolerated, and it was just booming. Then Black Friday happened, so every company had to shut down US to some extent, and so everything collapsed pretty quickly. And then and that's when I moved. I was back in Italy, and more countries started to regulate online gambling. Italy was one of the pioneers. So we got an early regulation in 2009. So Italy was actually one of the first European countries that established like a regulatory framework for online gaming. And poker was one of the first products that was regulated. So again, I witnessed like the boom and the growth of poker in Italy as a second wave after the moneymaker effect. Everyone was playing local clubs in private games and casinos. So it was a momentous time for poker.
Yeah.
And then it just fizzled because for many reasons. But casino got regulated, sportsbook took over. So other products that are arguably easier to play just
lower barrier to entry.
Took most of the revenues.
And how has poker really marketing has changed in poker over the last 10 to 15 years?
In the beginning, it was all about, everyone trying to everyone thought that they had a chance to beat the game. So everyone thought, one day I'm going to make it big, because, there was still a lot to learn. Everyone was still playing in a suboptimal way. So after a few years, very strong players start to, put some serious study into the game, and basically increased by a lot the skill gap between the beginners and the pros. And it took away a lot of the dream, a story of everyone can make it, into only the best and smart people can succeed. And it's still like that today. It's like a game of sharks and fish. So it's very hard now to find people who just want to play poker for fun, because they realize that they play against very good players. Like yesterday, Magnus Carlsen was there playing chess.
Oh, he was?
And you cannot expect to sit at a table, with him and win a game.
Yeah.
And the poker, you can still.
Did you buy against him?
No, but you can still, by a miracle, win a game against a super pro. But it's getting hard and harder by the day. So most players just feel like, okay, it's just too hard to try. So that took a lot of recreational players out of the picture.
Absolutely.
So new games were invented, like shorter games, more volatile games that mix a bit more of random elements into the game. So that's, they moved poker more towards a casino game where, you spin a wheel, you have some actions that are more randomized. So you get more into like a more volatile game that is less, where even a beginner can feel he has a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me about, your role right now as the CMO of Immense Group, and, why that was the right move for you.
So, well, Immense, it's and formerly Video Slots is a sort of a legend in the industry, because it's one of the first online casino that was launched and was successful, actually founded by a poker pro turned businessman who in 2012 established a platform for video slots. So it's a story of a pioneer in the industry, a legend, and then I'm very happy to show that it started to knock off the legends, because we have a very solid understanding of what players want from a casino experience. We know the product. We know, we just know how to create like a very solid proposition and entertaining proposition.
And what were, when they brought you in, what were the pain points that, they wanted you to help solve?
So, well, we launched a few more brands. Again, casino is like, in regulated markets, is very complicated to grow, because we are very limited in advertising options. So again, being a CMO in the gaming industry is not easy, because you need to be aware of all the things that you cannot do.
Yeah.
I would be probably terrified of taking a CMO role in a, consumer staples company, because they have so many options, so many channels that I'm not used to. But again, a CMO of a consumer staple company should be terrified of taking a CMO role in the gaming industry, because there are so many things that you cannot do, and so many channels, acquisition channels and marketing channels that are unique to the gaming industry that you need to know. Otherwise, you make very costly mistakes. And so that's why probably in the industry, it's a very closed industry. There are not so many execs, especially marketing, coming from tech company or from just general mass brands, because it takes a lot of as you said, experience to navigate around the limitations, not to bypass them, but just to understand the logic and try to find a way to still get the players in a responsible way. But still, you need to grow your business, and so it's a fine line, and it's always hard to show as a CMO like giant, creative, bold campaigns as you can do in other industries, because you can just not do them. We are so restricted that whatever we do looks silly or looks at least old-fashioned.
Sure.
And so it's hard to show as a CMO, oh wow, I'm a trailblazer. Because, I mean, doing this with Open Fortune is already something that is pretty unusual. And I'm actually the first UK customer for Open Fortune. Because again, you need to be risk averse by nature and by experience.
Yeah.
Because most of the things that you think you should do in the gambling industry probably will backfire.
Absolutely.
So
tell me about, you said, right, you have to be bold, but you can't, it's very, very hard to be bold. Open Fortune's a unique asset, and I know our listeners know about it because of the sponsorship, but I'm curious what your first, initial reaction was to it when you heard about the idea, and why you ended up doing it, and how is it going?
So, well, it's, I think it's a good idea. We still have to see the results. It's still in the launch phase, but I think it's a good idea because it captures a potential player at the right time. You deliver, like a bag of Asian food home, potentially to a bunch of people who are about to watch the football game, and they find like cookie, and they find your message at the right time, right before the game starts.
Sure.
And they have, like a relevant message, hey, place a bet, or here's your bonus. So it's very important, I think, to capture a potential player at the right time with the right mood. I mean, we do some outdoors, but again, outdoors, you reach the player when is stuck in traffic or is on a commuter train, is not really in the mood for.
Sure.
Yes, you think, oh, I'm miserable, I want, it would be nice to win $1 million, but it's still not in the right mood to actually do it.
Sure.
So I thought, okay, we have let's say like a strategy of, and even our media agencies dividing actions by rest, work, and play.
Sure.
So hit the people either when they're resting or when they're working or when they're playing. And we need to contact people for our industry when they are in the playing mood.
Yeah.
So that feels, the media is playful, potentially the atmosphere is playful. You're in a restaurant or you're at home having some takeaway food.
Totally.
So it all feels like, the right time to, to connect with a potential player.
Absolutely.
Feels nice, feels lighthearted.
Yeah. Well, you are a trailblazer in the space in that, right?
I mean, we'll see. I hope that our experience in UK will be successful, and other competitors will follow and fail because we did it better and we did it first.
Exactly. It's important to be first. Tell me a little bit about where you see the gaming industry going and your role, and what is most exciting to you with what you're doing at Immense Group.
So, well, it's again, being a CMO in the gambling industry, it's often a numbers game. You need to be very, very
Calculated.
Yeah, you need to be very rational because margins are good. I mean, again, if I compare to other industries where you have a very, very narrow margin, you need to be very analytic. You need to cut as soon as you see that the campaign is not immediately profitable. The gambling industry, we can afford to be a little bit more relaxed because, again, margins are good. You can have some margin to play with brand, with attribution, and with direct response channels. So I take an incremental approach, not strictly, fully attributed model. I just see a little bit more holistically. We do TV, we do outdoors, we do digital, we do social, we do, some tests like Open Fortune. We have sponsors. We sponsor football teams. We sponsor the darts in the UK. So it's a mix of branding, building trust, because you need to have so many brands in the casino that everyone can open a casino in probably a week. So you need to create something that stands out from a player perspective. They see, oh, they sponsor West Brom, they sponsor Sheffield, they sponsor the darts. So that's a company that are probably not going to disappear tomorrow. That's enough for players to prefer you against another casino. And so you need to give them a bit of, an incentive to trust you, like a sign. And then, yes, you can be crazy. I mean, when we were at PokerStars or GG, we were doing more, craziest things. We did a partnership with UFC or with Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar. With a casino, you probably don't need that, being like a smaller company, but still you need to give something. You need to give the players the right sense that this is a solid company. They have a lot of games and they have, a solid, reputation. Absolutely. It's all about building a reputation, good product, good bonus, good promotions, and they will play for you for a while.
Absolutely. We spoke a ton about your career and everything that you accomplished, which is awesome. But in your personal life too, what are some things that you're proud of there?
Oh, well, I started as a journalist, so I'm pretty proud of my creative writing. I mean, I used to write stuff in Italian, trying to finish my first novel in English. I am a wine geek, so I founded the Maltese wine tasting team.
Nice.
We participated in the global competition of wine tasting. So yeah, creative writing, wine.
Yeah, I'm excited to
creative
see the novel.
stuff. Creative. You need to be creative if you want to be a good CMO.
Absolutely. It's cool that you were in for GG and all those, right? Like, I'm sure you partnered with like Negreanu and Ivy and all those guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Negreanu is brand ambassador of GG.
Oh yeah.
So again, it's part of, giving players a face they can trust, and just being, just being in the community. GG was all about building communities. Poker is all about building communities. Casino, not that much. Casino, you play on your own.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't go out sponsoring people.
Yeah.
Just because, you don't talk. Generally, also social is very different. Paid social, or we don't even have like a big social media presence because poker, you want to, but for you win, you want to brag. Yeah. In casino, you win, you're not going to Facebook and brag that you won.
No, you don't.
Because it's a more private experience, and so again, someone from outside of the industry could come in and say, you know what, I'm going to spend billions on Facebook, building like a Facebook, social organic, and then finding out that actually players are not going to Facebook to talk about your brand.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's a casino brand.
Yeah.
So these are like, I'm lucky that 15 years of experience, you learn from the more social games like poker, and then you move on to casino games or sports, and then you just adapt and you see, you just need to play the games. What I'm always surprised is that a lot of people in my industry and a lot of colleagues, they don't really play that much. They don't play.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like Hey, do you know the?
Do you play stats in poker?
I mean, not much poker, but now that I'm selling slots, I play slots because
You want to, but you didn't seem more experienced.
you need to know your
100%.
product, right? So sometimes what I feel that sometimes is lacking in my own industry is like the product knowledge. If you are in the fashion industry and you go to an exhibition,
Yeah.
you see people
You gotta
talking
live it.
about, the last collection all the time.
Yeah.
Here, you rarely see people talking about, hey, have you seen that slot? What do you think of that slot? What about this new game? So it's like we are sort of ashamed of our own product. It's like, we know better than the players we don't play because our players play. We are above our players. And I think that's a very costly mistake because you don't really understand what players feel when they use your product and casino. So that's something that sometimes I feel I'm pretty.
Yeah. You got to know your customer and sometimes be your customer.
It sounds basic, but honestly, I am surprised that a lot of people on this floor they sell slots every day, but they barely know what they're selling.
Yeah.
And it's not a criticism. It can be done.
It's an observation.
But it's like, you need to be passionate about your games and your product, and then more ideas come out of the, knowing, oh, Pirates 4, great game. Why? Oh, this pirates fighting on the line.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, very nicely done. But again, it's just being as passionate for slots as I was passionate about
Sure.
poker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, let's hit the quick question round and get you out of here. Person you'd most want to sit down to dinner with.
Elon Musk,
Favorite city in the world.
Paris,
Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
in the mountain. Yeah.
That's it. In 40 years from now, what will people be nostalgic for?
Will it be?
What would they be nostalgic?
Nothing.
Top 3 CEOs right now. We would say top CEO, one of the top, whatever your favorite.
Bernard Arnault, the
Okay.
CEO of LVMH.
There you go. One thing people don't understand about your job is,
Oh, they think I'm playing all the time.
yeah. What's the worst advice you've ever been given?
Finish the university at all costs.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Don't finish the university at all costs.
There you go. And where can we see you in 10 years from now?
Probably having something to do with my wine passion, consulting with some gaming companies, but having fun with some wine and meeting Gary Vee somewhere in New Jersey and sharing a glass.
There you go. You guys will make that happen.